Hi everyone, Dearly Crafted here. This is segment 3 of working on this little llama here. And from where we left off last time, I was working on the little ear, one of the little ears. I did finish one of them in the time since the last time that we had our last segment. So, and what I did was I went ahead and sewed one of the ears on. So what I found out was while I was sewing the ear is that this floss kept breaking on me. So I ended up having to I finished this ear with the floss and it kept breaking on me, but I went ahead and did it. And I switched over to the needle and thread for the body because I sew this pretty tight. I want to make sure that it doesn't, once again, doesn't fall apart. So, you know, I mean, what if it becomes a llama football? You know, you don't want it falling apart during the game, right? So we'll just say that. And in the instructions here, it was instructing you to sew all the way around here and leave the bottom part open. I get that, but I wanted to make sure that you could see what I was doing up here. So let's see here. So basically I sewed the ear, I turned it inside out, and I sewed it to the top of the head. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a chance, but I wanted you to be able to see this. That's why I didn't sew all the way here and leave this open. That's what I'm trying to explain. So let's see here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and I've got this ear sewn with the floss. Hopefully when I turn it inside out, it won't fall apart on me. Because like I said, I did the ears with the floss, but I did the body portion with regular thread. Okay, so I'm taking the dull end of this skewer stick that I have and to turn this ear inside out. Okay. And another thing I didn't like about the floss is I couldn't pull the stitches tight, and so you can see, because it kept breaking on me, and you can see a little bit of threads there. So I couldn't get a really tight stitch around the ears, but I'm not going to resew it because we got to move on here and get this little girl done. Okay. And so I just kind of, as I was sewing, I tried to tuck the fur so that when I went to turn her ear inside out, has the fluff around the edges and wasn't caught up in the seams of the cruddy floss. Yeah, just did not dig that floss at all when it came to actually sewing here. Okay. So oh, and let's see here. Just gotta grab something real quick. I'll still continue to do shout outs and that when I get myself organized here. Okay, so I went to the regular thread and I double threaded it. I went back to my own preference as far as the way to thread so that I didn't have to worry about a tail pulling loose and that sort. So and I completely forgot my glasses again, so this is like trying to sew like Helen Keller here. Right. And I don't have pause on this. I did a test to see if I could find the pause button, see if there was some mystical magical. I did find the mute button, but there is no pause on this. So I was like, webcam with no pause. Okay. I just have to go with it. So basically, I double threaded and brought it down even like this, and then see here, took it just a little too close. So I'm just moving my knot area down here. Okay. So I've got about, let's see here, about a foot. A little over a foot actually. So I like this little measuring tape if you have to like measure things. So that way it's not, the thread is not so long I can't work with it. So let's see here. I keep saying so. And it shows in the book, shows lining up the ears kind of with the eyes and the nose, like the outer part of the muzzle. So I did that on the last one. And initially, I believe in the directions, what it wanted you to do was put all the pieces together and sew it like that. But with the thickness of the fur and the felt, it seemed a little too much to push this dull needle through. So I sewed on the ear separately, and then I can sew it all together. So you just want to put the ear a little bit above here. Just trying to see what I'm doing. Trying to make sure it's at least a little bit even here. And then I'm just going to take and try to get super dull needle into this and get all the layers in there. Make sure that I have enough that this, I'll see, I'm too close to that felt. Not liking that. Because once I get sewing, I want to just keep going. That rhymed. Sound like Dr. Seuss. Okay, once again. I'm hoping her noggin doesn't end up looking all weird. Because I'm like trying not to take away. Okay, so see how I've got the felt and all the fur and at least a little bit of a space between here, so hopefully the felt doesn't tear out when it's all done. I almost lost it by showing you. Once again, I do this super kind of heavy duty hem stitch. I don't know if that's what it's called. I just know it holds stuff a lot better than most stitches. And it's one I've used all my sewing days. Okay, so while I am sewing this, I'm going to be looking off to the side so I can say hi to some people. Another viewer that has a channel that I wanted to mention is Diamond Painting Nurse. She's newer to having a YouTube channel, and see, another viewer is Fizzy, and these are people that are also in chat quite often. Excuse me. And Southern Diamond Painters. And once again, as far as viewers and chatters, I'm not going to use the last names unless they have them in their channels. Let's see, Marie and Mandy. So Marie is another person that's a chatter I enjoy, and Mandy is another person I enjoy. And Diamond Paintings Lover also has a channel. Cynthia is a chatter and viewer. And Ginger. And Jackie, spelled J-A-C-I, and Sharon, and Tail Whip, often confused as Tool Whip by one of the other YouTubers. Actually, maybe not confused anymore now. And I think Tail Whip might have a channel coming up, which would be very cool. I would love that. Love to see that. That particular person be a YouTuber would be really fun. I believe that would be just so fun. And Sherry's Creative Niche. She has a new channel, and she is very fun and very nice to talk with as well. Okay, I'm just gonna take a moment here to pay attention to what I'm doing so I don't poke my finger. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. I'm checking the seam here on the ear, and as far as the distance, and I think it looks pretty good. I'm looking on the monitor. So let's see, and checking as far as the eyes distance. Okay. My foot is falling asleep again already. Oh, goodness. I get antsy. I'm going to put one more stitch here. take it through. There's a little loop right there as I was taking the stitch through. I'm going to start knotting this, and so I'm going to find where the thread is that I just did and create the knots to secure the ear. Okay, and didn't bring my glasses, so don't laugh too hard at me, but right in my little trash box there. Okay, so it looks like as far as the face and the ears should be pretty good. If they're a little bit different than not lined up perfectly, that's probably not a bad thing with this. Because it is still cute. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we'll go ahead and take and, like I said, I sewed all the way around here, and this is like a really strong stitch. Like I said, you want this toy to be nice and sturdy, because you never know. You want it to last. You never know if it's going to be a little fun toy, and you just, like I said, you just want it to be sturdy. So I'm babbling here. Okay, I found the mute button, so I'm going to take a drink of coffee here real quick. Just a moment. Okay, coffee's getting cold, but that's okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to stuff it with having to do what's called the ladder stitch all the way around the head. I pinned this off so that basically what I could do is take and sew this area and then make this area, leave this area open for turning her right side out and trying to get the stuffing in. But I want to, because of these ears are so thick and everything, and that I want to sew all this around and pass the ears in this way, because I don't want to take a chance of doing the ladder stitch up here around the ears. I'm concerned about it holding correctly. So let's see here, just tucking in all of the fur pieces, and I'm going to have to rethread. Okay. Once again, I do apologize. It's taking me a moment to do the simple things here, since I left my glasses downstairs like a dodo head. But you'd think with all these lights on that I could see, you know, like every granule grain of everything, but that is not the case. So we just go with it. And so, okay, so I just, when I thread this, I leave a little bit like that so that I can pull it through with the threader. Okay, take each side and line it up. And I would have sewn more. I'm going to keep this short because I'm going to be working this thread pretty hard on the edges here. Okay. So if I have to rethread my needle often, I'd rather do that than having to worry about working thread that is too long to pull. So, okay, and once again, I'm creating that starter knot because to make it easy right there. That gives me a good starter knot. Just kind of repeat right next to it. Of repeat stitch right next to it, just to make sure that starting area is secure. Okay. And you gotta get a little bit away from the edges here. Give myself more of a space. This fabric is shredding kind of on the side. Okay. Another viewer chatter is Kiss My Yaz and Cindy B. She has a channel, I believe. Maybe? I kept thinking she had started a channel. If she hasn't, I apologize, Cindy B. But, and the last name is spelled like B, like B-E-E. Let's see here. Denise and is a chatter, and Dorothy is a chatter. R, just the letter R, is a chatter. And let's see here. Just looking at my notes. Ah, you saw my notes. Oh, I hit my little. Did I? Robin is a chatter. Totally lost my place here. Creatively by Shanda Seeley. She has a channel. And once again, if you need to know the spelling, because the spelling of her channel is one that you may have to link to, because it's very, very creative spelling. And so she's in my featured, she should be listed in my featured channels list there, because she just recently started back up with her channel, which is awesome. I love it. And Melanie is a chatter, and Rob is a chatter, and GJ is also a chatter. His name is, the first name is Gertel on GJ. Alessandra is a chatter. And I'm going to take a break here for a moment because I'm getting around the ear area. And seeming to be kind of bunched up here, so there we go. make sure and definitely get enough of getting these two together. I would have preferred probably if this llama came with two furry sides, and honestly when I bought it, initially I thought it did, like that both sides were furry, but it had, I'm not sure if it really showed the back of it when I bought it, but it's probably a good thing that it's not furry on both sides. I don't know, but okay. Alright, so this is right on the edge of the ear here. And so I'm going to finish off this length of thread that I've got. And I do apologize that there's so much space between these videos, that there's been a couple days in between the videos. We've had, well, we always have challenges with our internet as it is. Our bandwidth is just not fab, you know, not great at all. Excuse me, I keep moving around. And so I was gonna upload one of these videos each day back to back, so that was a smooth transition, but it was not uploading, and it was being so naughty. So there's had to be a couple of days in between uploading each of the videos, or at least a day in between uploading each of the videos, because it was taking that long to upload. And for us to still be able to use the computer and stuff, we just had to limit our upload, or we had to limit our bandwidth for the upload so that we could still utilize our internet. So it's like, to begin with, it takes a long time anyway. And then on top of it, it's when you're still, oh my goodness, totally missed that. I gotta pay attention to, it's fuzzy, and maybe, so I probably, Rachel Ray, she probably understands what I'm talking about with the upload thing, because I think she has pretty slow internet as well, or limited bandwidth as well, where she's at. So yeah, and it can create, I forgot to pull my threader out. It can create a real challenge when you're trying to upload things and still be able to utilize your internet for other things. So in this case, it is not a YouTube issue. It is our bandwidth that creates that issue. And that's why we are hesitant on the lives situation. And like I've said before, the sun and moon have to be in the right position, it seems like, for us to be able to do a live. And that's basically what my husband had told me. It's like, because of the limited bandwidth. So not sure. Still might try it at some point, but okay. So I've got another thing of thread here. So we'll see. You know, I may get wild hair, crazy thought, and just try it out of the blue sometime. Just go, I wonder if this will work. So I'm trying to keep an eye on the ear here. as far as where it's folded in and all that. I don't want to lose all that cute little tufts of fur on the inside of the toy. And so I just got to get a good start. But yeah, just pushing this through, once again, is, and believe it or not, it's not necessarily the fur, because the fur pieces of this are very porous. It's the felt on the ears that is creating more of a drag and more of a challenge of trying to get through. And with the felt being so thick, which is a good thing, that's some heavy duty felt, but to try to get it through all the pieces is the biggest challenge that I've found. So yeah, with the type of stitch I'm doing, that floss was just not holding up at all. The really secure stitches that I'm doing here, this floss was just breaking. I think I missed getting that through the felt. So what I'm doing as I'm sewing is I'm feeling for that drag. I'm trying to make sure I get through, but I don't want, I'm hoping it doesn't come out deformed or nothing. Yeah, oh my goodness. But by sewing the ears ahead of time, instead of trying to squeeze it in, hold it, blah blah blah, that way it creates a little bit easier for me. And I know that the ears are sewn. If nothing else, if for whatever reason I miss a stitch while I'm doing this, I know the ears are already sewn shut, or folded actually, and shouldn't pop out when it's finished. Okay. Alright, so I'm just gonna do, I'm hoping I'm talking loud enough again here. Okay. Let's see here. Another chatter is char char, or shar shar actually is how it's pronounced, but the spelling is like char char. And let's see here. Since I don't have access to my YouTube while I'm doing the recordings here, I went ahead and made a list so that way I could do the shout outs more thoroughly than in the first two videos. So okay. Alright, so we're past the ear. Hopefully it's not a hot mess in there. And I'll probably take a peek at it here in a sec. Okay, so my thread got a little bit wonky. So I'll just get that straightened up. I'm doing that. Okay. And I'm going to just try to take a peek here at how I'm doing on this. I'm going to go ahead and undo that for a second. Okay. So it looks like the ear is all in the stitches. And the stitch is nice and tight looking, except for right on the edge. But where I'm currently stitching. You can see this stitch, the last stitch I've done. So, okay. So yeah, as far as a good weight, a decent weight of regular thread is suggested for the main portion of the body here. Let's see here. Another chatter is Mary and Amanda and Anika and wait a minute, where? Oh, I'm gonna put that pen back in. Just kind of keep this in order because I don't want to lose this spot where I'm gonna try to do the turn inside out. And if I think this is going too long again, I mean, it's probably going to be an hour video, but if I think it's going too long again or what have you, I'll stop the video and but I want to at least get it to where we're, you know, putting the stuffing inside of her and hopefully getting her turned inside out, you know, and getting the stuffing inside of her, basically, is where I at least wanted to get to that. Because there is a stitch for closing up that's called a ladder stitch that I'm kind of just, it's not hard, but I don't recall right offhand how to do it easily. So, I mean, it's like I said, it's not a hard stitch, but I don't know how time consuming it's going to be. But it's called a ladder stitch. Okay, let's see here. Speaking of stitch, there's another chatter called Stampin' Stitch. And Teresa and Tammy and Saphira's mom and Connie, and I think I mentioned Jennifer, and it looks like she's going to start, or has started, a channel of her own. I think it's called Crazy Yarny or Crazy Yarny Jones. So I'm trying to keep an eye out for that. I tried to look it up, but I couldn't find it. So Jennifer, if you're listening, just keep me up to date. And then another chatter is Jeremy, and he also has a channel, Jeremy Fryer, I believe. Yeah, he has a channel. I'm not sure what the channel is, if it's any particular hobby or anything, but he's also a chatter and enjoy chatting with him as well. And Kelly. And I did mention Creativity by Gidge last time, and in between the time I mentioned her and that, I guess well wishes for her, or, you know, best wishes for her, and if you could send those. I won't elaborate right now because I'm not sure if she would be comfortable with that, but from what I understand from the chats, it would be nice for everybody to send her positive thoughts and good wishes. And alright, I'm going to have to knot this here because I'm pretty much out of it. Oh, see, I just like boo-booed that. Okay. I'm very intense with my thread. what can I say? I want to make sure it works. So I will take and okay, so what I'm going to do is, because that broke off, and take and see if I can undo a little bit of that and then hand knot it. So you get to see my boo-boos here too. Bonus footage. Okay, so I'm just taking and like ripping out the seam here. Just a little bit more. And even though I'm going to hand knot this without my glasses, so once again I'm going by trying to just feel the threads. Oh, my stomach's growling again. Oh my goodness. It's like watching paint dry sometimes, I tell you. With I run into these things. I don't know if it's going to work fabulously, but okay, I just sounded like Pauly Shore there. Fabulously. Okay. There we go. Finding my place. Okay, I'm going to mute you again real quick for a sec here, because I need another sip of cold coffee. Gotta remember to press that unmute button. Okay. So we got white thread. Just gotta see a dark spot so I can see where it is. Get it? There we go. Yay! So, once again, let's see here. Okay. Next page. Another chatter is DW. And there's also another channel. She's called Rambling Rose Diamond Painting. And I liked her Drill With Me's because she uses like a music that I like. It's a jazzy swing era type music. I like all different kinds of music, and so I don't really stick to just one genre, I guess you could say. But if it sounds good, no matter what era it was made in, I dig it. Life's a garden, dig it. And let's see here. But yeah, she would do like let's see, a few of her first stroll with me's were with that music playing, and I just, oh, I loved it. Okay, let's see here. So I'm just going to reinforce where I hand knotted that with this new thread and get a move on here and try to. Okay, another chatter is Amy. I am 82. Enjoy chatting with her. Also with Deb. And another chatter is Schleich Crafter. And there is a couple of Sarahs. You know who you are. Sarah and Sarah. And Julie. And Heavenly Graphics. And Deanne. And Sharon. And I hope I didn't forget anybody, but I just wanted to say hi and, you know, just kind of acknowledge you, and that I enjoy spending time with you in the chats and receiving your comments and just kind of talking with you. And let's see here. We're getting to the second year, finally. Yay. Trying to think of what else I was going to talk with you about. Okay. Second year is kind of... got my thread twisted up a little bit there. I'm going to just let it dangle for a minute and unwind. Once again, my apologies. I'm just antsy. I'm sitting on the floor. My feet fall asleep. I've done that to where I've sat down and I'll sit on my feet and then get up and look like, you know, I had too many beers, basically, is what it'll look like, you know. I mean, I'll be sitting down on my feet and not have any beer and get up and look like I had too many because my feet are asleep. So, not recommended. Don't try that at home. Or anywhere else for that matter. So, we're getting closer. Oh, and the, I gotta sneeze, hold on. Okay, it faked me out. I didn't sneeze. What in the world? So hopefully it doesn't pop in unexpectedly here in a minute. But yeah, as far as the eyes on the llama, everybody so far has voted for the little gems to be used for the eyes. And I agree. I was hoping it would go that way with using the little gems and that. Okay, so since I'm going to be turning this inside out, I'm past, just barely past the ear right now. And So I'm really going to try to use what I have of this thread and really reinforce this last stitch, because we're going to be kind of working the ears through when we do the inside out, turning inside out and that. And I'm trying to just, like I said, just really knot this up good, so hopefully it doesn't rip when we go to turn it inside out. So like I said, I'm approaching it from a different space than what they recommended. So cross your fingers that it's not a big old hot mess. Alright. Because then I'd have to stop the video, and goodness knows you, I don't know if you want another video, but okay. Right. Let's see here. Alright, so we've got that much space to do the stuffing, but in first, basically we have to take, and I'm going to start with the ears because that's the fattest part. Because the rest doesn't seem as thick. I want to get that fattest part through first. It's like a little egg hatching or something. Take my time, not rip anything. Oh, my stomach is totally growling. I apologize if it doesn't sound like the stomach growling, but it was, I promise. No funky things here. Alright. So I've got that much space to stuff. Can't forget her little butt. Okay, got that much space to stuff, or space to stuff, and ta-da! Look at her, she's so sassy. And that ear's a little bit different than this ear, but I'm gonna go with it because it's kind of like, almost like, okay, not perfectly even, so don't let it bother you. Perfectly imperfect. So, all right, got my stuffing. And I'm not sure as far as with the stuffing if I should do like, yeah. I'll just do little bits at a time here. Once again, I don't want to stress either one of these edges too much. I want to try to get maximum fluff. Maximum fluff. Oh my gosh, my stomach really needs to stop talking so much. It's like, I should be embarrassed, but yeah, I'll try not to allow myself to be embarrassed too much. Got things to do, don't have time to be embarrassed. Alright. Like I said, at least it's not something really gross smelling. I'll just leave it at that. So I hope you enjoyed the little bloopers, snippet. And figure give you a little bonus footage there. Because this video, I won't be able to upload it for a couple days because we need to use our internet for we just can't go without the bandwidth for the next couple of days for the upload. So even though we have control of how much we use, we need our full internet for the next couple of days, and you know, to make sure that the upload's not interrupted. Just, it's going to take a couple days. I don't know how else to say that. It's like negotiating bandwidth when you have to, you know, especially on the weekends, because, you know, my husband is gaming and that, and don't want to interrupt, you know, him being able to have fun on the weekends, and you know, and when new games come out, you know, want to make sure he can do that if need be. And so, okay. All right. So move a little bit more to her trunk here. Her bootay. She's a cute bootay. A little bit more to her noggin. I don't know if I have any extra stuffing, but okay. So, alright. She's nice and soft and squishy. And I better move that because goodness knows I'll clean up I gotta clean up my space here. So this is the ladder stitch that it talks about. But see how it's like, oh hello. It has a little hello. That's cute. And this is with her decorations and stuff like that. They did her blanket with her, so, but I didn't do that because I want to make it like versatile to where you can add stuff later. Okay, so here's the ladder stitch they were talking about. And so as far as the next part of this series, what I was planning on doing is adding the bling and doing some of the accessories. I just love how you can play with her hair. Oh my gosh, too fun. But yeah, as far as thinking about just making a portion of adding the bling, you know, and her eyes, adding the bling to her eyes and stuff, and the accessories. I'll have to get a new cup of coffee for that, because I plan on filming that today, as long as I can do it. But I won't release it. I won't be able to release it because, like I said, the uploads are taking over many hours. I can't even guesstimate it, but it's been for hour-long videos. It's been not threading. Many hours to upload an hour-long video. So it pretty much takes up the whole day just to upload an hour-long video. I've got to see where I'm going with this. Okay, there we go. It's hard to see the white thread. I mean, besides the fact that I don't have my glasses. Got discombobulated there. There we go. Yeah. So besides the fact I don't have my glasses, it's like, there's a white table, well, it's not a pure white table, but it's a light color table. Okay. Just trying to focus so I don't lose my knot here. Okay, so with the ladder stitch, basically it is good that they have the numbers here, and to start out the ladder stitch, I'm just trying to figure out where I want to start and end. So I think what I'll do is I'll start the ladder stitch up here by the ear, since that's where I pretty much secured it the most, and it's the most, in my opinion, unobvious area for that to be started. And once again, they do it with a different thread setup, or a different thread setup than I do. They have to where they have a loose tail end over here, and I'm not using the floss, I'm using the needle because I trust that most. So they have, bring it in from underneath, and with the fur, hoping I'm not too much out of camera focus here. And so you start out, and then they want you to go like that. So you go in and back out. In the same area. And then you go to the other side and you do the same thing. So okay. Now, biggest thing I can see here is trying to make sure and keep that fur flat. So once again, it's relatively straightforward. Just a little bit tedious, but relatively straightforward. Is you take the ladder stitch you take, and they're showing the space wider on here, but when you're actually doing it, I would say if you want a really good tight seam for that area, just like I said, they're showing it for illustration purposes. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to see if I can zoom a little bit more for you and show you on the color part. It's kind of hard to see on the fur. Let's see here. I'm trying to zoom you in more. That is one thing I like about this, because when I use the other so see how that is. Look at that. My nails are kind of messy. I don't know if it's gonna focus right, but okay. So I'm going to zoom you back out. Okay. I'm going to adjust here for a second because it's again, foot falling asleep. Okay. And then I just do the same thing on the other side. And it's basically going to cinch that portion in. And I'm trying to, once again, I'm trying to keep the fur flat over here so that way we have maximum furage. I don't know if that's a word, but I just made it one. Okay. And keeping my needle and thread from getting all discombobulated here. So I'm trying to keep it real. That one didn't. It'll look like it's far away because of the, it's like spaced really wide because of the fur, but it actually wasn't too bad, but I just did it again just in case. So, okay. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and continue to do this. I'll go ahead and stop the video for now and continue to do this and have all this sewn closed so that way we can move on to the accessories. But this gives you an idea of, like I said, as far as closing this up, gives you an idea of what her final is. Basically, it's just a matter of doing the last video in the series of making her accessories and putting on her sparkles onto her eyes, and we will be all done with her, and she once again might be a little mascot for the unboxing table here. And for this year, this month, we'll see. And everybody have a great day, and no problema, no drama llama, and no llama drama. Take care, everybody. Thanks. Bye.